Hi, Daddy.
Hey guys, Ash and Throw here. Gonna go through my very first run of the Rooted Nightmares raid with my new clan that I joined, Marksman Pro. These guys were amazing. There's 2 of them, took in 4 people that have never been in here before and walked us through every encounter and what to do. Explanations were awesome. These guys were great. I appreciate all their time. Just want to say thanks and kind of go over the strat for this video and what they did and what we did as new people into this raid to help walk us through it so we could walk other people through it later. So in this first fight, we had one runner that ran before and knew exactly what they were doing, paired up with one of the new players that hadn't run it before to do all the dot connections. And then on top of that, the rest of us stayed on ad clear, popping scions, killing the tormentors, and killing the barrier champions right after the tormentors are down, because we don't want those barrier champions to stack up because they can cause a problem. Some of them are a pain, but they get melted pretty quick in here, so we did a really good job. A really smooth run. These guys were just really on point, really good group. So basically all you have to do here, kill the scions as soon as they appear, kill the tormentors, kill the barrier champions, and ad clear all day. So ad clear supers if you want, or if you want a single target super for the tormentors, you can, but please make sure that you're popping the shoulders before you do that single target super, because you'll do little to no damage unless those shoulders are popped from that super. So just be aware, pop a super after the shoulders are popped, or just run with a regular ad clear. You'll find it way more beneficial, I think, than a single target super in this one. So yeah, so name of the game: scions, ad clear, tormentors, ad clear, scions, ad clear, tormentors, barrier champions. Keep it clean, keep it tight, just do a bunch of crazy grenade throwing DPSing and have a good time. And that's this run, guys. It's pretty straightforward and a lot easier versus the day 1 challenge, but still really fun raid. So again, remember, scions, tormentors, barrier champions, ad clear, in that order probably is the best bet. I'm gonna leave you to watch the rest of the fight on how we did it, and I'll catch you in our next fight. Alright, Connect the Dots Part 2. You're going to have one runner on the dark side, one runner on the light side, 2 ad clears on the dark side, 2 ad clears on the right side. They will need to get buffed with you as you're going through and shooting the orbs. There's shielded champions on both the light and dark side that need this buff to be killed. Without it, they're just shielded and you'll do no damage. So as you get comfortable doing the run, try to call out when you're coming back to shoot your colored orbs so that your guys can meet you there to make sure that they can get the buff to continue to kill these barriered ads. So the way this orb works is you shoot the first one, you jump across the way, you take your next one over, so you'll see like there's a orange one to the left of me there. I did the one to the right, or to the left there. There's an orange one that I went over, and now I'm gonna do the white one here. So you can kind of gauge the next one that you need to do by just looking at it, because it's always gonna go light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, all the way down the path. Is really the easiest way to remember it. You don't have to remember exactly where the plates are per se, if you remember that you're always going beside the orange if you're light, or you're always going beside the light if you're dark. Which is orange. I don't know why I keep saying orange, because it's orange, even though it's supposed to be dark. Anyways, so as you're progressing through this, so the first one you hit, you go across the map, you shoot the orb. Then you come back, get your dot, and you stay on that same side and shoot the orb on the same side. Then you go back to the original orb, shoot it again, then go across the map and shoot the one beside it. So it's weaving the light and the dark, crisscrossing across the map. So you should be lighting 6 total. Once you get 6 total, 3 on the left side, 3 on the right side, you need to head back to your side that you originally started on, group up with your team, and there's going to be the next barricade here is going to launch you up to the next level, just like that. Then again, you start on this side. As soon as you hit the first one, you're going to the launcher. It'll launch across the way, shoot the one beside the orange one. See the orange dark to the left? So my white one is right behind this pillar. Shoot it. Going back across, I'm going to grab the light orb again, just to the right, and I'm going to stay on this side after I get this buff and shoot the orb on this side. And then after I shoot the orb on this side, I'm going to have to turn around and go back to where I just was to get another buff to head back to the other side. So this is the longest part. I probably did this the longest way possible. It's actually kind of tough on a warlock to do because our floof isn't really really good for height or more distance and control. But as long as you're jumping right after the launch, you'll get all the height that you need. So it wasn't an issue. I think a couple attempts and I had it down. So I had really good guidance actually from the guy that's doing the darks. He was paying attention to his and mine, so if I was gonna miss one or if I were shot one, he was really good at communicating with me, saying, hey Ashton, you missed this one, go back, or whatever. Just because there's so many of us that have never done this before, and the best way that these guys taught us is to have us do the mechanics and have us step up and actually learn this stuff and work through the raids. So these guys were clearing this raid super fast prior to us, but when we came in, they really did a good job making sure that we understood the mechanics, we knew how to do stuff, so that we were prepared to show other people how to do this stuff and move forward in these raids to get more people involved with it. It was pretty cool. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, that's this run. So it's just back and forth, trying to make sure that your group is buffed so that they can kill the shielded ads, as well as making sure that you're doing the proper crisscross. I think here I missed the launcher, so I'm pretty sure there's going to be a little cat sticker popping up here that I put in, but yeah, it sucked. And when the launcher came back in, it almost killed me, which would have really sucked because my whole team was up here, and this is the attempt that we made it through on. But anyways, that's this fight. Just take your time. Remember, crisscross. And always make sure if you're dark, you're going beside the light. If you're light, you're going beside dark. And you're just weaving back and forth between the two sides. So there's 3 levels total. Once you're done the 3rd level and all the ads are down, then you're done and you get your loot. So I'm going to leave you to the rest of this one, and I'll see you on the next fight. Alright guys, now we're on to the planet room. So there's 5 triangles total. There's right upper and right lower, left upper, left lower, and in the center is a triangle as well. But it's actually 3 DPS pads that you stand on that kind of form a triangle. All of these triangles, the way you call it out, the one I'm shooting right now is far, that black ball to the left is left, and the orange ball to my right that you'll see in a second here is right. So on every triangle, when you enter the room, that's the way you call this. It's far, left, and right on every triangle. So they all stay the same, so everybody can communicate properly on what they're trying to do. So this fight is actually harder to explain than it is to actually when you get in and start doing it and you're like, that makes sense because there's planets here, planets there, light buffs, dark buffs, what are we doing? So the way we did it is I was on the upper right, so I changed platforms with the guy on the lower left. So as soon as my guy's down right there, I see there's 2 darks and 1 light. So you go to the odd one out. So I'm grabbing the light buff, telling him, my other guy on the other side, that it was on the right hand side. So he's going to take his buff to the right hand side, and I'm going to take my buff to the far one, is the one that he called. So I'm going to dunk it here. So once you do that and everybody does that, go into add cleanup. There's going to be a lieutenant. Only ever kill the lieutenant that's on your platform. If you are not the guy that gets the finishing blow on the lieutenant on your platform, you will not get the buff to see which planet is the odd planet out. It's very important that you only kill your lieutenant. You can kill adds, everything up in the middle, no problem. But scions are going to spawn 3 at a time behind you. Your lieutenant pops, and then you get the buff. So right now, there's 3 lights. So I'm going to look across the room, and I see 2 darks and a light. So it's dark far, dark left, and light right. So because I've got the lights on my side, I'm going to grab the light buff, and I'm going to take it across and dunk it on the light platform, which was the right platform over here. So boom. And then on the other side, the two dark guys are going to come over and dunk it on the other two. And then we clear ads, and then we get ready for DPS phase. So DPS phase doesn't happen right away, so it's a really good time to, if you have crowd control supers like roaming supers, just to clear up ads, use them at that point. Now when we get into the DPS phase, you're going to see the boss is going to be glowing either orange or white. If he's orange, you're going to step on a dark plate. You don't need to stay standing on it, you can just step on it, and then you go into DPS phase. Each plate gives you 7 seconds of DPS. Then you need to see what color he's going to be next. I wasn't paying attention because I didn't know. So he's light, so we went to the light plate, and then we're back into the well doing DPS. Now when this 7 seconds is up, we can back up, get onto the dark plate, and continue our DPS. And then you're going to rinse and repeat this. So after this guy's down, or after this plate's done, you're going to go back and do the whole thing over again. It's a pretty straightforward fight. Always go back to your starting positions after the DPS phase. These guys actually made a really good point. When you're doing that DPS phase, don't have PvP feet. So you see when people are standing in the well and everybody's trying to get all their stuff to proc and do everything, people like to sway left and right and forward and back, and that actually gets in the way of people's grenades or their rockets or their heavy machine guns. So they call it PvP feet, which is pretty funny, I thought, because it's actually brilliant. As soon as they said it, I knew what it meant, and I'd never heard it before. Because yeah, it's a straight PvP move to not get sniped or submachine gunned or whatever. So again, grabbed my buff, got my call from my guy on this side, other fellow Canadian, by the way, if you don't know I was Canadian. And we clear ads, wait for our lieutenant to spawn, kill our lieutenant, and then we can move into find out which color we need to dunk again, in which sections, and then we move into another DPS phase. So my lieutenant should be spawning any second here. Kill a couple scions. There he is, lieutenant right there. And we'll just go through this step again so you can see it again. So again, I'm on the white side. So we see two darks again and a white. So it's dark far, dark left, white right. So I'm going to take this to the right hand DPS pad again. Now be aware, I did put a note in here so I didn't forget to mention it. If you're on the DPS phase where you're actually standing on the plates or running through a plate, if you stand on the wrong plate, you deactivate that plate for yourself, so you cannot use it for that DPS phase again. So you need to make sure that you're standing on the correct plates. So right here, he's light. So we're getting ready to go to the light side. And then watch, the boss, I think, switches on this one and kind of screwed us up because we couldn't see him. So right there. So he turned, we all went on the white plate. Notice that we weren't getting any DPS because he switched to dark. So you really got to pay attention to that. We lost a lot of DPS on it, but we ended up still switching to dark, getting our 7 seconds of DPS, and then we're going to move back to the other side. A couple guys got to continue to do DPS because he switches to white here. I just shit the bed all over this. We probably could have got this guy down if I was able to do the DPS, but I stepped on the wrong plate. And it goes bunk for me after that. So right here, everybody's still able to do DPS. He is immune for me because I suck and I'm new and I didn't know any better. But yeah, that's the fight. So after 2 attempts, if you don't get him down, you need to get him down this attempt because an enrage happens and you'll die. So this is the fight, everybody. I'll leave you to it and I will see you in the next one. Alright, the final fight of the Root of Nightmares raid. So there's going to be two runners, a light and a dark. Both runners need to connect 3 light and 3 dark. So after you can, and the reason why you do it in threes is because Nezarec has a white mechanic. So you do your 3, and then as the people that are, there's going to be some ad clear people, and then there's going to be like a designated crit person or 2 designated crit people, and all they're going to be doing is popping Nezarec's shoulders pretty much. When they pop a shoulder, they're going to call out light or dark. If it's a light call, then everybody needs to move to the light pad. The dark runner will go get his buff and bring it to the light pad and shoot it, giving everybody a buff that stops them from being one shot from the mechanic. See his fins at the back, they're just glowing white, like he's ready to just wreck this place. You'll see that, boom, that's his white mechanic. So that's how you can circumvent that mechanic, is making sure that whoever is DPSing or whoever's critting those spots on Nezarec is calling out light or dark, so the runners know which runners need to go where, and so that the rest of the group knows where they need to stack up, so they get the debuff so they don't die. After that, you just carry on grabbing the orbs. Once all 6 orbs are done per side, you move into your DPS phase. We liked the very last one here. It seemed to do well for us. If you do get knocked back, you can sword or floof or double jump or triple jump your way back onto the pad without getting knocked off the map. So Nezarec doesn't take any damage until he gets hit by the Jesus beam, and it's a big red beam that comes down. So until you see that beam, don't pop your supers, don't pop your cooldowns, don't waste all your heavy ammo, because he cannot be damaged. He's got to get hit by that beam first. I didn't see him get hit by the beam in the first one because I got knocked off and kind of went down the hill. But when we get into the next DPS phase, you'll see it. I did a little call out with it with an arrow and stuff like that, so you can actually see what it looks like. But that's it. As soon as the DPS phase starts, have a Warlock pop a well here, and we had somebody running Divinity on this fight, and we ate this guy's lunch. It was pretty awesome. So I'm going to leave you to the rest of the fight. It's just kind of rinse and repeat, doing the 6 orbs, stopping at 3 orbs aside again, prepping for that white mechanic, and then moving on for the other 3 to get into the last damage phase to get it down. So that's the raid, guys. I hope this helped anybody or everybody or nobody. I really enjoy making these. Mostly I make them for my buddies so we can get on the same page and clear some of this content together, and hopefully I can get some of these guys over this new clan, because these guys are pretty rad. But thanks again to the clan Marksman Pro for taking me in, showing me the ropes, being patient, training 4 of us, you know, you 2 guys, 3 guys, showing us. It was a little bit of a long run, and we greatly appreciate it. Can't thank you enough. And yeah, more of these to come, everybody, and stay safe and have fun. Eyes up.
Thank you.